In this video, we are going to be looking at the law of sale and supply of services. Those that are doing business law, this is the second topic in business law, the law of sale of goods and supply of services. So, the objective of this topic is to consider the principles and rules that govern the sale of goods in Uganda. And the sale of goods is an important type of business transaction as it forms a large percentage of the economic transactions in Uganda. The law that governs and regulates the sale of goods in Uganda is called the Sale of Goods and Supply of Services Act, Chapter 293. And the Sale of Goods and Supply of Services Act, which is also known as SOGISA, is the main law that protects both the buyers and sellers in a sale of goods contract. It also sets out the rules for situations that are not covered in the contract, because some things are not covered in the contract, so they are found in the Sale of Goods and Supply of Services Act. For example, what happens if goods are damaged or destroyed before they are delivered to the buyer? So that is the Sale of Goods and Supply of Services Act. It sets out the rules of situations that are not covered in the contract. And this law governs and regulates the sale of goods in Uganda. So the scenarios that we have is in case of a potential purchase of a motor vehicle, taking out the vehicle on a trial test or raid, then it is stolen from him at gunpoint. Like someone comes to buy a motor vehicle, then they take it for a test raiding, and then it is stolen to them. It is stolen from them at gunpoint. What happens then? So such scenarios are not included in the contract because they can't know what happened. So this is where the Sale of Goods and Supply of Services Act comes in. Yeah, if someone takes a vehicle for a test raid and it gets stolen at gunpoint, responsibility of the loss depends on the agreement between the buyer and the seller, but generally the seller still owns the motor vehicle unless the sale is completed. So the seller may bear the loss, but it also may depend on the agreement between the buyer and the seller. Then another scenario is when goods are delivered by a seller or by the seller's courier to the premises of the buyer at midnight, and they abandon them there and then they are destroyed by rain. Like they deliver the goods but at midnight, whereby no one is actually there, then they just put them there and then the goods are destroyed by rain. So such things, you never find them mentioned in the contract. So when such things happen, it's when the law of sale of goods and supply of services comes in. And another scenario can be when a machine breaks down 5 minutes after installation, which is unfair because I've paid my money and you've installed the machine and after 5 minutes it is spoiled, and the receipt may be having an inscription that says goods once sold are not returnable. So this is not okay because I paid my money and I need to get the value for my money. So it's where the law of supply of goods and the law of sale of goods and supply of services comes in. And it's important to note that the general principles that relate to contracts, for example, offer, acceptance, consideration, etc., apply to a contract of sale of goods, and the parties are free to agree on terms that will govern their relationship. Yes, so that is the introduction that we have on the law of sale of goods and supply of services. Thanks for watching. We shall be looking at more in the next video.